When our birthday comes around, it's the one day a year where we get to say, wow, I matter, I exist, I'm here. Let's celebrate that.
Your birthday is your new year.
Tamar Hurwitz-Fleming is the author of How to Have a Happy Birthday, Fulfillment and Joy on Your Special Day.
Why do so many people have birthday blues?
A lot of people don't like to get older. This idea that there's less life ahead of me, that my mortality is becoming more and more evident each year I get older. There's a certain seriousness to living. Our birthday avoidance typically comes at some point in childhood where our parents celebrated us and did everything for us, but then we become an adult and nobody does that for us. Nobody teaches us how to celebrate ourselves. So we go into the world and we think, oh, that's just for children. How dare I get my hopes up? How dare I sit and wait for people to celebrate me? And they don't.
Birthdays can also be this place of decluttering unhelpful beliefs.
When we give ourselves permission to put ourselves in the center of our day and our life, just this one day a year, ask yourself questions. Why?
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Kasim Al-Mashat. I am so thrilled to share today's conversation about a topic that impacts us all from the day we are born. And it happens every year. Guess what? It's your birthday. Why does it matter? And why do so many people struggle on their birthday? And what can we do about it? Well, friends, my guest today is Tamar Hurwitz-Fleming. She's the author of How to Have a Happy Birthday, Create Meaning, Fulfillment, and Joy on Your Special Day. After having the worst birthday of her life, she finally realized it was up to her to make her birthday happy. Tamar draws upon more than 30 years of observation and experience to provide an insightful exploration into this topic. And her book is truly that, filled with ideas and ways of changing our mindset around it. So, Tamar, a warm welcome to you to the Pause to Elevate podcast.
Thank you, Kasim. I'm delighted to be here with you today.
Thank you so much for joining us. I was telling you before we started recording, when I found out about your book, I thought, wow, thank you for writing this. Like, it's something I know personally has come up in my life. Like, not every birthday is an exciting and feel happy. And it's like, there's things come up around it. Before we begin, I want to hear about your journey. But before we do that, why do so many people have birthday blues?
Yeah, a lot of people do more than we even realize. You know, we all know happy birthday. It implies birthdays should be happy, and I believe they can be and they ought to be. But so many people do have the birthday blues. So many people don't want to celebrate their birthdays, don't want to acknowledge that they even have a birthday. They just want to duck, as if this big wave is coming that they can just duck and it goes over them. They can come out the other end. They'll be relieved. And I believe it's because there's a lot of need. We have a lot of need on our birthdays to be special, to be loved, to be revered, to be the center of our world just for one day a year, because that's what we all deserve to be. Every person is a miracle. The fact that we are all here is a miracle. The fact that your soul is in this lifetime being you, my soul is in this lifetime being me, that is something to celebrate. And when our birthday comes around, it's the one day a year where we get to say, wow, I matter, I exist, I'm here. Let's celebrate that. Let's feel the love from people in my community, in my world. But if we have memories that are painful around that expectation that doesn't get met at some point in our life, typically our birthday avoidance typically comes at some point in childhood or just after childhood. Maybe we leave the house and we come from a home where our parents celebrated us and did everything for us, but then we become an adult and nobody does that for us. Nobody teaches us how to celebrate ourselves. So we go into the world and we think, oh, that's just for that's just for children. And how dare I get my hopes up? How dare I sit and wait for people to celebrate me? And they don't. And a lot of people don't realize that when we abdicate our birthday power to other people, when we abdicate the actions and the energy that only we can be responsible for, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Right. It's up to us to take charge of our day and make it happen. And there are other reasons why people don't like their birthdays. A lot of people don't like to get older, right? I've been hearing that women, when they hit 40, 50, they don't want to celebrate their birthdays anymore. I just turned 59 and 60's coming early next year, and I feel it. It's a big number. And mostly it's a big number because my middle ages will be over. I won't be middle-aged anymore. I'll be stepping into the decade where I become a senior. And that's pretty significant if you think
Yeah.
about it. And so I have no problem getting older, but this idea that there's less life ahead of me, that my
Mm,
mortality is becoming more and more evident each year I get older, that there's a certain seriousness to living. Am I living the
right.
life I want to live? And if I'm getting a year older and I'm not living the life I want to live, and I feel stuck and I don't feel empowered to make changes, yeah, you bet I don't want to keep counting the years forward. So there's a variety of reasons why people don't like their birthdays,
Mm,
and there's different as each person has their reasons. And I would invite listeners, for those of you that don't like your birthdays, whatever the reason, I invite you to investigate and to
mm,
remember what that reason might be, to actually look into that, because you can't heal the birthday blues unless you understand where they come from. And I
yeah.
remember experiences even from my childhood where, it's almost like a schizophrenic experience. I
Mm.
got yelled at in the afternoon, and that night everybody's singing happy birthday to me, and I'm like, wait, my feelings are still hurt from the fact that you yelled at me in a way that didn't feel fair to me. Like my feathers were still ruffled, but now you're bringing cake and celebrating and
Now all
making
is
me be
well all of a
happy.
sudden. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. All of a sudden, all is well.
Yeah, all of a sudden
Yeah.
all is well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And it wasn't. So I
Yeah.
was confused. I felt like, wait, where is the emotional authenticity in this moment? Right? I'm
Mm,
still upset. No one's honoring the fact that I'm still upset. They're sort of just bringing me this birthday cheer that I'm not in the mood for.
mm,
And I feel like I need to make you happy by smiling and being happy that it's my birthday. I mean, I was a young child. I didn't have words for that, or the ability
right.
to make sense of it. But there's stuff like that. It's small, but it can add up to make you feel
Mm,
confused about your birthday and the feelings that can come up.
mm. It feels like, if someone did have a good experience early in childhood, then that colored what birthdays should be later on. And in a way, it ends up being a disappointment because, right? And the other way around, too. If someone did not have good experiences early on in childhood, it's going to remind them as well of
That's
that.
right.
And I really appreciate when you were describing it in the beginning, like the visual, it really landed for me. Like sometimes we duck from that day. Like I relate to that. Like I've had days on my birthday, I'm like, it's over. Like, do you know, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I've been reflecting, I turned 50 last year. And
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. And
That's
it
a big one.
was a big build up for it. And it ended up not being what I wanted it to be because I wanted to please everyone. Like, oh, this is how they want to celebrate me. And I reflected after what I really wanted to do is actually travel on my own. But
That's a
I'm like,
very big
family will get,
realization.
yeah, family will get disappointed. Like they want to celebrate with me. And then I just, at the end, I was like, meh.
I'm really happy you said that,
Yeah.
because that's a big one. We can be people pleasers 364 days a year, but on that one day, we get to put ourselves in the center and say, you know what, it's my birthday. What I really want to do is go travel alone. And so,
Yeah.
what I'm going to do, everybody, is I'm going to go travel alone, but we're going to celebrate me and turning 50 a month in advance, a
Yeah.
month
Yeah. Yeah.
after, right?
Right.
We're going to do it, and I'll take all your calls and all your emails the day of my birthday, but I'm going to do what I want to do because this is what I get to do on my birthday. And it doesn't mean I
Mm,
don't love you, and it doesn't mean I don't value you, but it means this is what I want to do. And I get to
right.
do this, right? And when we give ourselves permission
Mhm.
to put ourselves in the center of our day and our life, just this one day a year, it actually teaches us how to do that at other parts of the year. If
Right.
you can practice putting yourself first and saying, hey, this is what I want to do, it helps break some of those patterns we have, or we're always looking to please other people. And that's the thing. We all have that to some degree or other. Some of us have it more than others, right? The people
Mm,
pleasing gene, whatever. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that it can come
right.
at the
Yeah.
expense of ourselves. And so the birthday gives us an opportunity, and nobody can argue with you when it's your birthday.
Right.
Everybody knows, right? Everybody, hey, it's your birthday. You get to do what you want. I might be
Yeah.
disappointed that you don't want to spend your actual birthday with me, but that's my problem. That's not
Right.
yours to fix. That's my problem. And when my birthday comes around, I get to do what I want to do, and it'll either include you or it won't on the day of or not. And that's okay. It doesn't mean I
Mm,
don't love you and want to be with you. It just means that for my birthday today, this is what I'm doing. So it gives us permission to practice really
mm,
being more self-centered, centered in ourself
yeah.
in an authentic way, so that we can invoke the things that can bring us pleasure
Mhm.
and joy and fulfillment in our life. Some of us don't even know what that feels like. But a
Yeah.
birthday gives us one day a year to experiment and see what that might feel like. And we
Mm.
don't get it right every year. Birthdays happen one day a year. You experience them. If you have any kind of thoughtfulness and reflection, you can figure out, okay, next year I want to have a party, but I don't want 20 people. It's too many. I want 3. You
Right.
build. And this is what I've done over many, many years as I started investigating and exploring the birthday energy as it came, as it arrived, and as it
Mm.
left, and what my experience was. And then I would make adjustments, and I would reflect, and I would have to wait a whole nother year to put that into
Right.
play. But that's how I actually, got a lot of the content from my book, was just experimenting on my own birthdays for 30 years
Mm.
and learning from firsthand experience what to do, what not to do. And it's, I think I've been able to really refine what the birthday experience is by paying very close attention to it. But
Mm.
yeah, when's your birthday?
It's a secret date.
Is it? Okay. I like secrets.
You're saying so many things that make me think about a lot of different things I want to unpack with you. And one of them is this sense of you say it actually. It's like your birthday is your new year,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and I love that. It
It's
just
your personal new year.
it's a personal new year, and actually taking the time to reflect, so it becomes a day instead of a pressure day. A day where like everything I have to feel happy every minute of that day, and it has to be amazing throughout. That's not. I mean, who
It's a lot
has
of pressure.
forget birthday, like any day anywhere is gonna have a mixture of pleasant moments, unpleasant, nothing. That's human. And for me, mindfulness has helped me see that, like, just here's how it is. This is how my heart is feeling right now. That's okay.
Yeah.
And what can I do to fuel joy now that I'm feeling
Yeah.
sadness?
Yeah.
How can I feel joy? What can, like,
Yeah.
it's not you're not saying, I just want like listeners to know this, you're not saying no, just pretend it's all good. No,
Right.
this is
Right.
not toxic positivity.
That's right.
Yeah. So how do we deal with that when, like, there might be a milestone memory, like first birthday without a family member? I know happened to me after my father passed away. So how do
Yeah.
we what
Yeah.
how do you do that?
Sometimes birthdays are sad, and
Yeah.
they invoke sadness. Like you say, be mindful, be present, and let it. And
Mm,
that's the birthday that year where there was more sadness. Every
mm,
birthday is different, and the thing that's beautiful about birthdays is they're very spiritual. They're like a
mm,
spiritual portal. It's the day our soul became physical, so
mm,
there's a spiritual beginning. Spiritual, actually, our spirit became physical on our birthday, so there's that. But
mm,
also, I use my birthday. Both of my parents have passed, and I also went
mm.
through the first birthdays without them, and it was very
Yeah.
poignant.
Yeah.
But you know what? Since birthdays are so spiritual, it was also a portal to my parents' spirit. I
Mm,
felt their birthday greetings coming to me. I felt their love. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have been born. And
mm,
so we can use our birthdays, and we can use our dearly departed's birthdays as energy portals to connect with them. We just tune
mm,
in, open up our hearts, they're there. And so we can use our birthdays almost magically to tune into the energies that are in the universe, that are
mm,
spiritually there for us, if we align ourselves that way. A lot
mm.
of us, part of the reason birthdays are difficult is many of us are sensitive people. And the birthday, like, woo, woo, put on the party
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
hats. And
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
whoa,
yeah.
whoa, whoa, I'm not into that. I'm feeling melancholy. I'm feeling deep. And if you want the party hats and all that, great. But some people are like, it's just not for them. But we feel like, culturally speaking, that's how we celebrate a birthday, right? That there's just one way to do it is with the
One
party
way,
hats,
yeah.
right? Be happy and all of that. But birthdays can be quite um, deep and meaningful and
Mm,
elevating. I find that I on my birthday starts on birthday eve, the night before my birthday.
mhm,
That's a very powerful time, actually, much in the way that Christmas Eve has power to it and
mm.
anticipation. So does birthday Eve.
Right.
And what I do is I actually, and I recommend everybody try this if you want, is I decorate my home for my birthday on
Mm,
birthday Eve. I put up a happy birthday banner, and I create a birthday altar. It's an area in my home where I put up pictures of myself from childhood, or a picture of my parents, bring in some crystals and flowers and candles and
mm.
mementos that mean something to me. And I create an actual birthday altar on my birthday eve. And that is like turning a light switch on the
Ah,
birthday energy. It welcomes the birthday spirit into my space. And it ends up being a beautiful focal point in my home that reminds me it's my birthday, that reminds me that the energy, the time has come, the energy is here, And in the morning, I'll sit before my altar. Maybe I'll pull a little angel card to give me a certain word, or I'll
Mm,
just take some quiet moments to start my day in a reflective
mm,
mood to nourish my spirit so that I can then go out in the world and have a good, fun, happy day, however I choose it to be. But if I don't connect with my spirit first thing in the morning, I kind of feel like I've missed the bus and I can't quite catch up with myself. Like,
mm,
wait, something's missing and I don't know what it is. I'm missing. I
mm,
missed that centering moment with myself first thing in the morning. And I feel like that's a really powerful ritual for those people
mm,
that feel sensitive on their birthdays. Spend some quiet time with yourself in the morning. It doesn't have to
mm.
be a long amount of time, but tune in. Why am I here? Ask yourself questions. Why
Yeah.
am I here? What's my life purpose? Am I living my life to my full potential? What are my dreams and hopes for the coming year to fulfill my
Mm,
potential? I mean, birthdays, because they're a personal new year, they give you a lot of room to ask those questions. And again, it's just one day a year. And the portal is wide open for you. It's a
mm,
powerful day and it's transformative. I always I feel very radiant and transformed by the birthday spirit on my birthday. And,
mm.
for me, it's funny, like you, when my birthday's over, I'm like, whew, thank goodness. But it's because it was a lot of energy. It's
Yeah.
like I was right. It's like that wave analogy. I rode the wave. It was a big wave and I surfed it all day
Yeah.
long, but, oh, thank goodness it's over because I did it. I showed
Yeah.
up and I infused my day with as much spirit as possible. And I had a good day. And then
Mm.
it's like, good. I did it well. I'm done until next year.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's something you're naming even about creating this birthday altar you're inviting us to do and decorating. It's actually intention. I hear as you're saying this, like you're creating an intention to connect. So it's not just an external woohoo, right? I think sometimes we feel the pressure. We must feel happy. It's the birthday, but rather you're saying reflect, take time to sit with yourself, take time to. I know your book comes with a workbook, which has so many excellent questions. So if anyone's interested, like truly excellent questions, they can journal about for a long time. So
Yeah. You can do it
um,
from year to year too.
yeah,
You can
it,
ask yourself the same questions year after
it
year.
changes.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
yeah, 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 totally. So the altar, do you keep it just for that day and then you remove it?
That's it. That's it. I put
Mm,
it up on my birthday eve, and it's one of my activities. It's like, oh, I'm excited, it's only really when I was born in January, so it gets
mm,
dark early. So
mm,
when the night falls, I feel like, oh, the birthday spirit is coming, and when I create my altar, I feel like I'm invoking the birthday spirit. And it's my nighttime activity, and it's quiet, it's peaceful. I put on some music, I lower the lights, I light the candles. It's beautiful, it's fun,
mm,
and it's a moment for me to just create what I want for myself, reflect back at me with that birthday energy. And then it's there the next day, and I
mm.
probably take it down. It depends. I'll leave it up for a few days. I don't take it down the
Mhm.
next day after my birthday.
Yeah.
I let the energy settle. I enjoy it. And then when it's time, it's time. And I'm happy to pack it all away and be done with it. But it's a wonderful ritual that's quite
Mhm.
beautiful and changes from year to year depending on what you want to put on your birthday altar. But I promise all your listeners that if you create a birthday altar for yourself, you will feel a different kind of energy show up for your birthday
Mm.
and for yourself because it's that powerful of an act to
Yeah.
create a sacred place for you and in honor of you. You're honoring yourself by creating a
Beautiful.
birthday altar.
You know how you're saying it as well. It's not you're not waiting for something good to happen because I think sometimes that's the pressure. I know for me, it's like okay, who's gonna call? Who's and we're wait like we are like you said earlier. Like we have some expectation that's almost setting us up for disappointment. Like waiting for who's gonna do what rather than actually creating. So instead of waiting, that
Totally.
might be a little bumper sticker. Don't wait, create.
Don't
Hey.
wait. I love it. I love it.
Right.
It's true. And that, I have had bad birthdays.
Yeah.
I've had bad birthdays waiting for other people to show up for me,
Mm.
expecting them to, assuming they would, and they didn't. Or they didn't in the way that I was hoping. And I didn't communicate what I wanted. I was just like, go ahead and surprise me, show up. And it would always, it just, it didn't
It
live up to
doesn't.
what I know.
Yeah.
And it puts too much pressure on other people, Let me decide what I want to do for my birthday. Let me invite the people in my life to participate one way or the other.
Mm.
Let me, like, okay, great. You want to, I'd like to go out to dinner with, you people. And so how about you choose the place? But here's the thing. I don't want it to be this, or this. It could be this, or this. Like, really dial in what you want. Don't just say,
Yeah.
take me anywhere. And the next thing you know, you're at some burger joint and you don't even want to eat hamburgers, like, be very specific about what you want while still leaving room for people to create and participate in a creative manner to surprise you, if that's what
Mm.
you want, you know. I told my husband once, I said, buy me a birthday cake. I know I want birthday cake this year specifically, not just the piece of cake you get at the restaurant. I want a whole birthday cake to myself. I have certain favorite flavors, but go ahead and surprise me. And that year he surprised me
Mm.
with something completely out of the box that was fun, and he
Mm.
got excited figuring out what, how he was going to celebrate me just by even selecting the cake. So there's
Mm.
ways that we can enlist people to participate in our birthday with some
Mm.
direction so that we're not expecting them to figure out what's going to make us happy,
Yeah.
but we're inviting them to help fill in the blanks that we've already outlined for them.
So it has an element of taking responsibility for that day and not just waiting for things to happen. And
Definitely.
there's another component you speak about in the book is sometimes people have a difficult time receiving, and but also treating themselves well. Like, I don't know, I don't deserve this, or what's the big deal? It's just another day. So what are some tips in working with that to expand?
Birthdays, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's true. Birthdays are like a litmus test. They're like they show us how we feel about ourselves. If we don't feel worthy of love, we're not going to receive any good energy that's coming our way. We don't want it. We're not going to ask for it. I'm not worth it. I'm not worth your time and energy, and I don't want to trouble you. Those are some very real voices that we have in our
Mm,
heads. And if we do, let's have some compassion for ourselves. Let's notice that those are the voices. Like, I don't think anybody really loves me enough to want to celebrate me, so why bother? That's a really sad voice,
right.
right? I mean, that's sad if you really believe that. And you might believe that for good reasons, right? You might have had messages your whole life that supported that belief. And so those messages and those messengers, hopefully they're not in your life anymore.
Mm,
But now it's up to you to take responsibility for the residue energy that's left behind from those messages you got and go heal yourself, right? You're in charge of you, right? Your life is yours. And
mm,
so go do something about it. If you've inherited voices that tell you you're not worth celebrating, I would hope that now in your current
mm,
time in your life, you no longer have those voices replicating that. And if they do, that's another thing to look at. If you've
mm.
actively selected people to be in your life that tell you you're not worth much, it's because you're allowing them to be in your
Right.
life to remind you of that belief system that was given to you probably at a much younger age.
Mm,
And you can choose what you do about those people. Like, you know what, you're not healthy for me. I need to step away.
yeah.
And birthdays can actually give us that kind of insight that we might not normally think about the other days of the year. But if we let ourselves start to do a little exploration as to what's going on here, why don't I feel worthy of love? Why don't I feel worthy of celebration? Start excavating a little bit. You don't even have to go
Mm,
that deep. Excavate just a little bit, figure out what's causing it, and then find out ways to heal your heart so that you can receive the good energy and the love that's there for
mm.
you on your birthday. Because I do believe 100% that when it's our birthday, people are happy for us, even
Yeah,
strangers.
yeah, yeah,
Every year I'll go get a cup of coffee and, hey, it's my birthday today, and oh, people light up. They're
yeah,
happy
yeah,
for me. They don't know me, but they're happy for me. It's because they know what it means because they
yeah.
get a birthday too.
Or even on a
They're
restaurant, you're like, "Oh, it's a birthday.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
we'll include a
If you get
cake for you for free or a
That's
slide."
right. Yeah. Yeah. And the waiters
Yeah,
come and seeing that happen this year. I started crying, I
yeah,
just got so emotional. There were like five people singing to me it's just another birthday to them. But to me, I took it to heart. I just
yeah.
looked at them and I said, you're giving me love right now. I don't know who the heck you are, but you're giving me love and I'm receiving it.
But
And
see,
I'm
you're so
grateful
open
for it.
to receiving. Beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes. Yes. That's my choice.
Yeah. As you're sharing this, it's making me think of like birthdays can also be this place of decluttering unhelpful beliefs. Like it's almost like a spring cleaning, here it
Yeah.
comes. Let's look at,
Yeah.
wait a minute, do I not deserve this? Or why am I not giving you this? What do I need? It's maybe it's a decluttering of unhelpful beliefs, or a sense of self that's not helping. It becomes an opportunity if someone wants to change that relationship they have to that day So it doesn't become this like, oh, birthday.
Exactly.
Mm,
Well, it's a personal new year. And because it's a personal new year, think about
mm,
the new year we normally celebrate January 1st. Here in this
mm,
country, we celebrate January 1st as the new year, New Year's Eve, and we feel the year coming to an end and wrap things up. There's a quickening, let's wrap things up, and then the new
mm,
year comes and things are
mhm,
opening again. Well, with a birthday, it's kind of the same. I've noticed that sometimes people can get a little anxious before their birthday or nervous. I've had this happen, even like
mhm,
I'm birthday positive. Something's going on, and typically it's the decluttering that needs to happen in my own headspace. Like maybe there's something that's bothering me and I don't want to take it
mm,
into my birthday. I want to deal with it before, but I don't know it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's bothering me. but but that feeling, that sort of a little bit of anxiety that starts to build, is saying, hey,
mm.
there's some stuff you need to pay attention to right now before you can really step into your birthday joy. So what's going on? Let's have an
Ah,
honest conversation with ourselves. What's going on right now?
yeah.
And that's the kind of decluttering that I'm resonating with when you're saying that your birthday can be an opportunity for decluttering. To me, it's happening before, in the days and weeks leading up. I
Mm,
feel my birthday probably, 6 weeks I start to feel it, and a month. My birthday is January 9th. So December
mhm.
9th, it's like, okay, my birthday's in a
There it
month.
is.
Here it comes, you know? And December 12th, I know it's coming in 4 weeks. Like I've got it down.
Yeah.
I know it's coming, right? And I feel it. It starts to build, just like the holidays, just like a major your birthday is a major holiday. So in the
Yeah.
same way, for those people that celebrate Christmas, the Christmas spirit shows up. You start, Christmas, 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 and it builds until Christmas, right? It's the same thing with your birthday. Um, there's a real
Mm,
energy that's there that when we tune into it and we work with it, it becomes a source of power and joy and
mm,
fulfillment when we work with it. And when we
mm,
take charge and create the birthday experience that we want for ourselves.
mm. The sense of even like there's a wave. You're describing Christmas like there's a wave, and this I had this image as you're speaking, like riding the wave. There's a wave isn't coming, but there's a birthday, and can we ride it? Maybe sometimes it will fall off that surfboard.
Yeah.
uh, but the whole theme that I so appreciate in your book and everything you're saying here is actually it's about being authentic. You're really inviting us to be authentic and real, like what's going on here, rather
Yeah.
than I think this is what a lot of people have resistance to, like, oh yeah, 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 happy, happy, everything happy. And that I find it repelling because that's not human. And I so like what you are bringing is so valuable because it's saying let's honor who you are, including your emotions, how you are, and let's use it as a self-discovery actually. Like you're using the birthday in your book. I mean, that's how I was left with from your book is it can be a tool for personal growth. Your birthday.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly right. That's
Mm,
exactly right. It is. When we celebrate our birthdays with intention
mm,
and we open ourselves up to the positive energy that is there for us on our day, it's our birthright. It's there for us. We tune into it
mm,
and we feel the uplift and the joy it
mm,
can bring. It is a blueprint for moving forward in life.
mm.
Empowering ourselves to do what we want on our birthday teaches us how to empower ourselves to do what we want in our lives. There are so many of us that live lives because other people want us to be a certain way.
Right.
And I feel sad for those people. I used to be that
Mm,
person, right?
mm,
Sure, you've got to please the parents, you've got to please society, you've got to please your partner, you've got to please your friends, you've got
right.
to please your boss, you've got to please. It's like, whoa, 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 what about pleasing me? Some people don't
Mm,
even know how to please themselves. I'm so used to
right.
pleasing others, I don't even know where to begin. And
Mm.
so a birthday, let's just start with that. It's just one day a year.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to quickly thank you for stopping by and watching this content. It truly means the world to me that you're interested in creating positive change. I also want to invite you to join our amazing community. I have free events online about mindfulness, mindfulness based stress reduction, laughter, as well as retreats that you can do from the comfort of your own home. And are you ready for this? Self paced program that you can do about mindfulness and stress reduction. So you can join the newsletter below to stay up to date on all these goodies. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and press that button. It really helps me to keep this content going and reach out to more guests. Thank you so much again, and may you continue enjoying watching this episode. Is this what you were describing as well in the book about the upper limit problem around Can you speak a little bit about what is this upper limit problem around joy or success?
Yes, I would love to talk about the upper limits problem. And
Yeah.
so basically, it's this idea that I read about in a book about
Mhm.
relationships. And it talked about that we've been programmed
Mhm.
that there's only so much positive energy we can handle before we hit a ceiling.
Mm.
We're just, like we all have a limit to how much good energy we can handle before we start to not trust it, before we feel like,
Mm.
this is too good to be true. And so when
Right.
we hit that ceiling, when we hit that limit, wherever it is, and and I'll give you an example of relationships. Like, let's say you start dating somebody new and you have all that wonderful excitement that goes along with connecting with a
Mhm.
new person, you're hitting it off. And let's say you spend, you go on 3 dates, 3 days in a row. By the end of the third date, you might have hit your upper limit. Like, oh my gosh, this is just so good. I can't handle it anymore. I can't
Mm.
handle all this positive energy. Something, the other shoe's going to drop. And so
Right.
rather than waiting for that other shoe to drop, I'm going to make it drop myself subconsciously. I'm going to pick
Mm.
a fight. Suddenly I'm going to get in a fight with this person, or I'm going to get sick. I'm going to make myself sick, literally, or I'm going to have
Mm.
something accidental happen. Like, there's ways that we actually co-create things happening to bring the energy down to where we're comfortable.
Mm.
We can't handle limitless positive energy without for any length of time, right? It's just the
It's
way it
gonna
is. There's too
reach
much
an area
fear.
where it's not comfortable. Boop. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like there's too much fear there. So the point is, birthdays give us an opportunity to push up against that upper limit
Mm.
issue, meaning, like, let's stretch a little further to raise that ceiling a little bit more, just for one day a year.
Mhm.
Push to receive more positive energy into your life so that you can stretch and be more open to that higher positive energy ceiling for the rest of the year, right?
Mm.
And it's okay if it's after your birthday you bring it back down again. That's okay.
Yeah,
That's
but to
okay.
stretch.
But stretch. Your
Yeah,
birthday
yeah,
lets
yeah.
you
It just feels.
stretch.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like such a healthy like exercise, emotional exercise. It's like a gym, right? We go to a gym or exercise, and sometimes it's not comfortable, but it makes
Right.
us, expands us. It makes us
That's
stronger. So
right.
there's something
That's right.
about what you're inviting us. It's kind of leaning in, and it's something that has really supported me quite a bit in my life, and in working with clients one on one, and teaching mindfulness is like, can we lean into gently what's here, like lean
Yeah.
into it, not forcing ourselves, but it's just like
Yeah.
turning to something. Can we
Yeah.
turn to what's coming up and on birthdays, and can we stretch ourselves to do something that we wouldn't normally do, or give permission?
That's right.
'Cause you're
That's
giving
right.
you see, you're telling us this literally. I was like, yeah, just give yourself permission to treat yourself, celebrate your existence
That's right.
on this planet, and reflect on that day.
Yeah. What a
Yeah.
concept, right?
What?
What a concept to give yourself permission to celebrate yourself and love yourself and receive love and bounty
Mhm.
from the universe and from your world and the people around you, to elevate yourself, right? We
Mm.
all have permission to do that one day a year. Do that every other day of the year if you can, and God bless you if you can, right?
Yeah,
But the
yeah, yeah.
one day a
Double up.
year,
Ooh, but now we're taking up a notch. Now we're really lifting
right?
some massive weights.
Right. And
Celebrate
and
twice a
and
year.
yeah, yeah. Well, your half birthday, go for your half
There you go.
birthday, your 6 month point. But some people, I've heard people say, oh, I celebrate my birthday every day. And I'm like, okay, well, that sounds good. And God, if you actually can do that and raise that energy to that level every day, hats off to you. I think it's really hard to do. I think it's
Mm,
hard to do. And I think when the birthday comes around, again, I'm going to use Christmas as the analogy.
mm.
There's a real spirit that comes around with Christmas. And, you don't feel the Christmas spirit in July. You don't feel it in April. You don't feel it in June. You feel it
Right.
in November, December. So it's the same with the birthday. There's really something to it. And I
Mm,
love it that it really is an opportunity for us to celebrate ourselves.
yes. And we were just joking about the half a year celebration. I don't know. It reminded me when I was a kid. Like, I think I've heard many kids do that. It's like, oh, I am 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6. Like, it was important, right? And and maybe this is one of the things I'm also appreciating about your book, and you're really spreading this work. Is, wait a minute, why not get curious, and like, there's something we lost as kids about this playfulness, this like curiosity, this wonder, and this looking forward to something. Like, let's look forward, like,
Yes. Let's be excited.
let's be excited.
Let's be excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Mm.
and and bringing back to childhood, we were excited. We were excited, and then we
Mm.
were disappointed. right? Our
Yeah,
hopes
yeah,
got
yeah,
dashed.
yeah,
And it's like, oh, I'm not opening my heart to that birthday excitement anymore. It's too painful.
yeah.
It's too painful.
Don't
It's just
want that.
one day a year.
Yeah, it becomes too much. I think it might be helpful to put aside like a perfect day. Sometimes maybe it's like the pressure. It has to be the perfect day, my birthday.
Yeah.
Putting the pressure of the perfect day, but celebrating and leaving room, which you're also mentioning in your book, like you can leave room for other emotions, honoring
Yes.
things.
Yes.
So it's not meaning it's going to be perfect in every way, but it's going to be a day you honor yourself.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And it takes planning. And this is something that, if you're going to have a happy birthday, you can't plan how you're going to feel the day of your birthday, but you can plan for your day in advance. And the first
Mm,
thing that I recommend people do is take the day off work. Take the day off work. Take the day off your normal routines and responsibilities so that you really have the entire day to do what you want to do. So once you have a clean slate, like, oh, I've got the day off work. And if you plan far enough ahead, typically you can do that.
mm,
Some people don't want to. They go, oh, I can't do that. It's like, no, actually, you can. You're not choosing to because you're not valuing yourself enough to take the day off work. You take the
mm.
day off work for other things, but it's a bit
Right.
too much to ask sometimes for me to take the day off work for myself. That's a little too self-centered. I'm not quite
Mm,
ready for that. But just suggesting that if you're willing to experiment with having a happier birthday, take the day off from
mm,
work and decide what you're going to do in the day to make yourself feel playful, feel joyful, feel do what you want to go walk on the beach or go take a hike in the mountains, you want to go get a massage, you want to go to the spa, do you want to go get your nails done, do you want to go shopping, do you want to go to a museum? Like, think about what would make you happy on your
mm.
birthday and then plan for it. you know it's actually really simple to do. It's
Yeah.
just you have to make the choice to do it and start doing it well enough in advance so that you don't secretly sabotage your birthday joy. For those of us that are
Mm,
birthday avoidant, there's a spectrum. I call it birthday avoidant to birthday positive. For those
mm,
of us that are somewhere closer to the birthday avoidant end of the spectrum,
mm.
we can self sabotage our birthday joy. We've become very good at doing that. We think we want a happy birthday, we think we're showing up for it, but we picked a fight the night before with our partner conveniently because that really shot the energy down, right? We decided to start talking about something intense or heavy or whatever. It could have waited, but we didn't. We pushed it and we got into the fight. And again, we brought the energy down. We
Mm.
our upper limits. We hit our upper limits. We brought it down so that we weren't going to have such a happy birthday after all. And there's other ways that we sabotage our birthday joy, right? There's
Mm,
just other ways that we do that. And so, and it's subconscious. That's my point, is that it's a
mm.
subconscious thing we do. So one way to combat that is to plan ahead,
Right.
and to put up boundaries to protect your energy leading into your birthday. I remember, I think it was just before this last birthday in January, my husband and I had some financial discussions we needed to talk about. And I said, you know what? And it was like the day before my birthday. I said, you know what? This can wait. It wasn't a particularly fraught conversation, but I could feel my energy already starting to change.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? This can wait. Let's shelve this till next week. No problem. But I had to be conscious enough to know how that conversation would just put my head into a different headspace.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go there. I was ready to, I was clipping the flowers, getting them ready to put them on my birthday altar. So it's that kind of give yourself permission, to use the word that you came up with,
Mm,
to draw the boundaries. Say, okay, we're
mm,
getting into sacred space now.
mm.
And when we draw a boundary of sacred space as our birthday approaches, we're going to keep some of the day-to-day stuff on the outside of the boundary
Right.
and just leave space for the sacred and the lovely stuff to come
Mm.
in.
So it also involves boundary setting, being clear on what you're
Yes.
wanting, and planning.
Yes.
When you're mentioning the taking the day off, can't tell you how long it's took me to take a day off, and especially running my own business and counseling and teach meditation and retreats, and for the longest time, you know, I would be teaching a class, a meditation class on my birthday, right? And I
Oh,
wouldn't say it to anyone, right? Like, I'm not going to
yeah.
cancel
No,
them,
no.
or seeing clients, and then I was like, wait a minute, why not take that day off? So, when I started taking the day off on my birthday, it felt like, oh, wow, am I doing something wrong? Like, like, because it's an old habit, and we all have conditioning.
Yes.
We all have habitual conditioning on what we do, autopilot. And I,
Yes.
and I talk about that in a lot of mindfulness
And
programs.
and the messages from society,
Messages,
from our
blah, 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 I am this,
family.
I am this. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
really pausing. This book that you have really makes us pause. Wait, what's going on here, right? So I have a couple other questions. I have actually so many more questions for you. I'm finding this so enjoyable talking about this. And so a couple other things, you know, in terms of if someone has a partner and if they don't have a partner, so maybe a friend or family, how can we be good supporters of those we love on their birthday? So here's one
that's a wonderful
element.
question.
Yeah. So how do
Yeah.
we do that?
Well, I like to check in with my husband. I like to check in with friends. Hey, your birthday's coming up. What are you thinking of doing? What
Mm,
sounds fun to you? Are you thinking about anything? Is there any way that I can help you have a wonderful day? Is there any, and no, you might not even want me to be part of your birthday plans.
right. Right.
You might want to go off on your own and go hiking alone, or go off with your guy friends and go do something, and it may not include me until much later in the day, and that's fine. But
Mm,
let's start thinking about what you might want to do, almost
mm,
like you're a birthday buddy, right? That you can start asking the question, and also show up. And what I mean by that is, my best friend is turning 60
mm,
this year, and I'm not going to be in town for her birthday. But I spent a lot of time putting together the gift that I was giving her, and putting a lot
mm,
of energy and creative energy into what I was giving her and creating for her. And it felt really good for me to put my love into the gift that I was giving her, and I created part of it as my way of supporting her birthday joy. Because I know that when she opens the gift on her birthday, she's going to feel my love. She's going to feel the
mm,
effort, and it's going to elevate her birthday experience. I know that because that's how I feel
mhm.
when she does that for me. And so whatever your relationships are in your life, you know what it is you do. I used to make my mother birthday collages every year for her birthday.
Ha,
And I do them for myself too,
yeah.
but I made them for my mother, and she loved them.
With
And after she
pictures or
died,
like
yeah,
magazines?
I
Yeah.
go, yeah, I just, I cut out roses and put,
Mm,
birds and whatever and shapes, and put a little glitter on it, and then a word. I would always find a word that I wanted for it, and it,
mm,
it just an uplifting word. Um, and after she died, I found the collection of birthday cards that I'd made her over the
mm,
years, and I have them now.
mm.
And it was the love that I gave her, and it was a love that came back to me after she died, because she kept them.
Yeah. Ah,
Yeah.
so
And so
meaningful.
things like that, there's way, love is very simple.
Yeah.
Love is not complicated. It's just how we choose to create the expression of love in our
Mm,
life for those that we do love. And we can figure that out. And we can
mm,
ask the people whose birthdays are coming what they might like. You know,
mm.
what would you like? What would make you happy? How can I help?
How beautiful you describing it. I can feel the tenderness of the heart as you're sharing. Like it becomes, how can I express my love? It becomes an act of
Yeah.
love rather
Yeah.
than a burden. Like,
Right.
oh, I got to figure this for my friend or my partner or my whoever family. It's more like an act of love that
Yeah.
so touch your heart even as you're remembering it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
And the best gift my husband gives me every year, and it's our ritual now, is he
mm,
writes me a love letter, and I read it
mm,
on my birthday. And every year it
mm,
touches me deeply, it moves me to tears. I know how much he loves me, but he takes the time for my birthday to write it out. So beautiful, so poetic,
ah,
so deep. And because it's just once a year, it's building up all year,
yeah.
so that when he's writing it out, it's a real treasure. And so that those gifts are far more valuable to me and far more meaningful than any physical gift he gives me that year.
Mm. See, that takes also the pressure of like spending. Sometimes people are like, oh, I have to
Yes.
buy this, I gotta buy this, I gotta buy this, I gotta spend this. And
Yeah.
actually you're naming, no, what would be meaningful. So if it's meaningful to be receiving a letter, you ask a spouse or
Yeah.
right, or
Yeah.
that's what they're wanting. If you're asking them, what would you like, and they say it's a letter, then
Yeah.
that's the gift. Instead
Yeah.
of just purchasing, like somehow
Right.
it's become very consumer driven. We have to spend a big amount to buy a gift, but it's not about the value of how much it is. Like
No.
what, it's the
No.
thought
And
goes into it.
and
Yeah.
and for some people, I imagine your listeners
Hmm.
are inward searching.
Hmm.
They have depth. They're pursuing matters of the soul, because that's who you are. That's what
Hmm.
you're putting out. So I think the people listening to this are going to resonate with this a lot. But there's other people,
Yeah.
honestly, that might be listening to this conversation that want nothing to do with it. They're like, they just want to go party. They want to go,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's great. Go do it. Go do it. Right. Go buy that expensive gift. Go party. But for those of us that feel a yearning for something more meaningful, for something deeper, this approach to the birthday experience can give us the fulfillment that we're yearning for without even realizing it.
Right.
A friend of mine just turned 70, and for her birthday, she had a big birthday party for herself, invited her friends, a lot of them. And she wanted people to bring a haiku poem that she then, which is a very simple poem to write, it's not complicated, and she put them into a book. And that book is so precious to her now that because it encapsulates all the love and energy and sort of magic that her friends brought through this container of this short haiku poem that they created in her honor. She asked for that. She created that. And now she has that love in this book of poems that she has reminding her now. She said if her house burned down, that would be the first thing she would grab.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. How meaningful is that?
Yeah.
Meaningful. So meaningful.
Another person I just spoke to recently had a birthday and asked people to go around the circle, like her friends. She had a tea party. She actually hadn't celebrated. She was turning 33. She hadn't celebrated since she left her home, her family home as a child. She never celebrated her birthdays. Someone gave her a copy of my book. She read it. She just said, this year I'm going to try something different. She had a tea party with, 7 or so friends. And one of the things she asked was for them to go around the circle and talk to her and share words give me words of love to me. I don't know exactly how she asked it, but it's your time to love me. So go ahead.
Yeah.
And the words that she heard were so powerful and resonated so deeply with her soul that it was coinciding with this urge, this shift she was feeling inside. And she has since decided to leave her very successful real estate business that she started in her 20s and to become a therapist. And this shift was building in her, big transformation. And it was building within her. It's not like that birthday moment turned the light switch on, but the birthday moment turned the dimmer switch up. That this was an energy that had been, these thoughts that she'd been having, like, I'm not satisfied with this life I've got.
Right.
And then when everybody went around the circle and said talked about the beauty and the strength and the service that her soul offers, like she's a soul who's of service to others and how they feel around her. That's when she realized I have to be done with this unfulfilling career of real estate and shift into being a therapist. So that was an example of a birthday experience that was life-changing in a sense and helped push her into a new direction.
What a beautiful story of really tuning in, listening, receiving, and the courage to take action in this precious life. Like, this is the reminder, the birthday is like, this is really precious life. Like,
exactly.
This is it. Just this one.
This is it. This is it. I personally believe we have a lot of lifetimes, that my soul has been here before, my soul will be here again. But guess what, folks? Tamar Hurwitz-Fleming, she gets one shot at it, and this is it.
Yeah. There's only
there's just one of me.
This is
now.
what we know. Yeah, totally.
So it's really a beautiful opportunity to live a life and celebrate it.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I just want to go back to, we spoke about it a little bit, but I want to highlight a little more, is sometimes the struggle around birthday is the reminder that we're getting older.
Yes.
So the challenge of aging. And in our culture, there's a lot of, like, we're supposed to stay frozen at a certain age or somehow. We celebrate youth. So how do we deal with that for birthdays? And a lot of people, like, we don't want to be reminded, it's like, oh no, I'm this now. Like, as if it's negative.
Well, the first thing I want to say to you is that if you're celebrating another year of life, that's a privileged thing to celebrate, right? There's many people that are not going to make it to your age. So getting older is a privilege. Let's just acknowledge that. Each year of life that we get to have is a blessing. And that if there's any type of, I'm 59, I'll be turning 60. And I'm fully aware of what it means to be a woman aging in this culture of the United States of America. I know what that feels like. I feel the pressures that come when the hair starts to turn gray and the wrinkles start to show up and the skin starts to sag. I understand that. The body starts to change and look different. Right. I understand the pressures that go with that. The thing that I find interesting is that this whole idea about, like, oh, I don't want to get a year older, often those thoughts aren't coming from us. We've inherited them from the culture, from the dominant culture, which is a very youth-obsessed culture. The United States is a very youth-obsessed culture. The consumer market is very driven by the promise of youth.
Yeah.
And a lot of industries are billion-dollar industries trying to sell anti-aging and, youthful procedures that keep us
Yeah.
looking young. And I understand the allure of youthfulness, but I will tell you something. I am much happier at the age of 59 than I was at the age of 29. I don't want to be 29 again. I'm happy being my age. My life is much better than it's ever been because I have the
Mm,
wisdom and the experience and the fruits of my labor showing up at this
mm,
age. So I also notice that some people, and I'm going to talk about women specifically,
mm.
feel like we're less valuable as we age. And I question that. Like, no one gets to determine my value. No one has
Right.
any right to determine my value or my power. I don't give them that power to determine my
Mhm,
power. I don't give them that right to determine my value. Nobody makes that choice except me. I'm in charge of
mm,
how I feel empowered and how I value myself. So, whatever the messages are from society, I tune them out. I don't buy them. And I make my own choices to live my life as authentically as I can as I age.
mm,
And I believe that it's actually a radical act to age as you are and not
mm.
apologize for it. Do what
Yes.
you will with yourself. Do what you will with yourself, whatever that means. But don't apologize for not doing it, right? If I don't
Mm,
want to make myself look any younger than I am or any older than I am, I don't need to apologize for it. And I believe that I'm actually excited to get older and to
mm,
turn into one of those old ladies with the wrinkles. I want to be that person. I
mm,
want to be that person in society that my great grand nieces, I don't have children, but I have nieces
mhm.
and nephews, and that those young people in my life will see Aunt Tamar as being this old lady with the
Yeah.
wrinkles and the gray hair. And I want to be that person. I'm not in a rush, but I'm excited to be that person and role model that person with authenticity, with grace, with power, and with no
Mm,
apology. And so I encourage anybody who's listening who feels this tension on the inside with their desire to age as they are and not apologize for it, and yet they feel the social pressure to conform or again, apologize or be insecure about it. I challenge you. I challenge
mm.
you. Be you. Be free to be you, however you decide to be, but don't apologize for who you are. Don't
Right.
apologize or lower your head for who you are. No.
Mm. This is so important because it's unavoidable and it's a part of
Yeah.
life. And actually,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful part of life. It's like season. There's different seasons. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful season, and it's something not to be feared. It's something to be
No.
celebrated. And this is I so appreciate like your workbook. Actually, that's one of the questions on it.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
such a powerful question. Like, can't remember how you worded, but something about aging and what is it? Is it about what are you afraid of losing? Is it your
What are you afraid of losing as you
mm,
age? And
right?
the question is, what do I have? What do I not have now that I
Mm,
had when I was younger? That's a very real question. I can
mm,
answer that.
mm,
What am I afraid of losing as I age? That's a very real question that I
mm,
can answer.
mm,
And what can I tell myself about that? And is there anybody what do I tell myself about that?
mm.
How can I talk to myself about that so that I'm not afraid of aging?
So you're investigating, examining,
Yeah.
exploring,
Yeah.
rethinking, and
Yeah.
reshaping
Yeah.
this automatic way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. Like,
that's
don't you?
actually that's how we've done it. That's why I so appreciate it. It's like it becomes an opportunity for personal growth. So
Yes.
things that kind of rub us the wrong way can become like, ooh, what's in that? Like you kind
Yeah.
of lean in, look in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
What am I buying? What is someone trying to sell me that I'm buying
right.
unconsciously? Like, I'm giving it back. I'm not buying that. The one thing I will say about aging that's really interesting, and I'm noticing
Mm,
this, I've had dark hair my whole life. Well,
mm,
now it's starting to get lighter.
mm.
And so for the first time in my life, I'm looking at a reflection of myself that I don't recognize because my hair is changing its color.
Right.
And I don't know this person. Like, I don't know myself with this color hair. I'm
Yeah.
getting used to this person, but I'm having to get to know a new person that is suddenly showing up as I age. And she's
Mm,
changing and showing up faster and faster the older I get. I heard one of your podcasts where you talked about you went on a retreat, a
mhm.
Buddhist retreat, and one of the monks said he was watching his face change every day,
Right.
right? And it was like an act of nature. Now his
Yeah.
eyebrows were changing and his skin was changing, and that was such a beautiful. And he had such a,
Mm.
a kind of a curious, almost reverence for what was happening to his
Yeah,
body and
it's
to his
like how
form.
beautiful. It's
How
it's
beautiful!
shifting and
Yeah,
changing.
yeah, like watching a rose go
Mm.
through its phases. And
Yeah.
so the hard thing, I think, for me
Mm.
and for my peers that are going through this at this time, and I think for anybody who's aging, is like, I don't recognize myself. This
Yeah.
this is a new, I don't know who I am when I look like this. So what I try and do is I try and pay close attention to those changes when they come. I see pictures of myself. Oh, I look old. It's like, yeah, you do. Pay attention. Look,
Be in the
observe.
observe the
Yeah,
present and
yeah, don't,
yeah.
so that you don't wake up when you're 67 shocked. Like, how did this happen? I wasn't paying attention or I was ignoring it. No, pay attention.
Yeah.
Watch it happen. And then that helps me be more flexible and accepting of how I'm changing.
Mm.
And sometimes it's not easy watching yourself change out of a
Yeah.
version of yourself that you've lived with your whole life. I
Mm.
don't know what I'm going to turn into. I don't know what I'm going to look when I get older. I know what I've looked like consistently for the past 30 years, the
Mm.
past 40 years, but I don't know what I'm going to look like 30 years from now. I have no idea. I'm going to
Right.
look very different at the age of 89 than I do now. But I don't look that different from 29 to 59. I don't look that different.
Yeah.
But from 59 to 89, oh yeah, big changes ahead. And I don't know what's going to
Yeah.
emerge. So
Yeah.
that's shocking to our psyche and to our self-image. So I want to acknowledge that. And I don't want to just
Mm.
poo-poo this idea that, oh, getting older, deal with it and be happy. I understand that there are challenges with it.
Yeah.
But I also understand that to the extent that we let it defeat us and make us
Mm.
feel ashamed and not want to celebrate our birthdays, we're not doing ourselves any favors.
Right.
So step into your birthdays, claim your age, name your age. There is nothing to be afraid of. And on the contrary, you're doing positive role modeling when you
Mm.
just name your age without any shame. Why should I be
Mm.
ashamed to say I'm 59?
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Claiming your age. It's like
Yeah,
meeting ourselves where we are.
yeah,
This is where I'm at right now.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not I'm not 20, I'm not 30, I'm not
No,
40, I'm not 50,
no,
whatever it is. Like
yeah,
this is how it is right now.
yeah,
And actually like this like today is the youngest I'll ever be. Right?
yeah,
So
that's
enjoy
right.
right here instead of saying, "Oh, now I wasn't as young as whatever 30 years
Yeah,
ago." Yeah, but
yeah,
today, so enjoy this
yeah,
day today and
yeah,
so is
yeah,
tomorrow and so is
yeah,
tomorrow. Yeah.
yeah,
There's something else I wanted to ask you about. Is I know you have a pet. We spoke about your pet earlier. I think it was Sassy. Is that right?
yeah.
Sassy is
I
your
have
dog.
Sassy and Sweet Pea. I actually have two of them.
What a beautiful name, Sweet Pea. Sassy and Sweet Pea. And I'm wondering, who knows? This might be another book coming up. Do you celebrate your pets, your dogs? Do you
Yeah,
do
it's
birthdays?
funny. So here's Sweet Pea. She's going to turn 3
Three.
on
Hello,
St.
Sweet Pea.
Patty's Day. Look how cute she is. This is Sweet Pea. She's a little teacup poodle, and this is Sassy. She's going to turn
Teacup poodle.
5.
Yeah.
Teacup poodle. She's going to turn 5 on May 7th.
Oh,
And
look at
so,
that.
and actually, I was just thinking about their birthdays, and yeah, I will be celebrating them, but it's not, it's not nothing elaborate. I mean,
Mm,
I'm not, you know, I understand their limits in terms of
mm.
understanding what their birthday is,
Right.
so it's not like they're my child and I want them to really understand how loved they are. I mean, well, maybe I'll give them an extra treat on their birthday or something, but,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll just
Yeah.
really, it's going to be for me more than them. But speaking of
Exactly. Yeah.
children, I do want to say something about children and celebrating
Mm,
children's birthdays. That depending on your child, if they're a
mm,
sensitive child, you might want to create, creating a birthday altar, having them create it with you in their
mhm.
honor is a beautiful ritual for children. And also letting them, asking them 3 things that that they're grateful for in their life when they start their birthday day. Like, today's your day. We're grateful you're here. What are
Mm,
3 things you're grateful for in your life? To give them a bit of a spiritual centering on their birthday and to start giving them some tools to understand that there's a spiritual element to their birthday that's not material. Because for
ah,
kids, it's so much about the cake and the party and the gifts. But what can we do to help nourish our sensitive child so that when
mm,
it's their birthday, they're feeling fulfilled in a deeper way? And the other suggestion I have, and this is really
mhm.
for anybody, is to spend some time being creative. I talked about making birthday collages for myself,
Right.
and I love that. I love that. It's really a source of joy. And then I have this beautiful collage with the word I've picked, and then I look at it all year. Just sort of decorates my
Mm,
space. And so it's a gift to myself that I make for myself. But creative energy is beautiful energy. If even
mm.
if you're a musician, maybe write a little song. Or I mean, it probably takes longer than a short time on your birthday, but invoke the creative spirit on your birthday is a really
Mm.
nice thing to do for yourself, and also if you have kids.
So many great tips. The gratitude thing could, not just kids. I agree with you. Like we can all explore that. Anyone's
Yes.
interested. What are things you're grateful for on your birthday? Yeah. So this has been so enjoyable and so thought provoking, reflective, so real, authentic. And I really appreciate you. And I'm wondering, I wanted to ask you just one more question. And then I'll put in the show notes to where they can get your book. So I'll put all of that and I'll put your website. And what is your website? Maybe if you can just name your website.
Sure. It's howtohaveahappybirthday.com.
Great. So I'll put that. I'll also put links to your social media. I'll put that all in the show notes.
Thank you.
The name of the podcast is Pause to Elevate. And throughout this conversation, you shared so many ways that your book actually helps us on pausing, reflecting. I'm wondering what else helps you pause, or things in your life you're like, I really took a pause and this was helpful. I mean, clearly you did that to write the book. So,
Yes.
so I'm wondering
Yes,
what
for
comes up
sure.
for you as ways you pause that helps you elevate, to
So
elevate.
this right here, these paws, these
Oh, the
four paws,
pause, but
the paws that
is
belong to
that
my
sweet
dog.
pea? Sweet pea, yeah.
This is sweet pea, but the PAWS actually give me pause to elevate. And what I mean is that when I'm going through my day and I'm harried or I'm rushed, and then my dogs come to me and they want a little attention and love, it makes me
Mm,
pause. I choose
mm,
to pause and tune in, and it elevates my mood instantly. When I
mm.
take them for a walk out on the street and I stop to talk to strangers because our dogs want to meet their dogs,
Yeah.
it gives me a pause to elevate and connect with strangers, and I feel that
Mm,
that's a beautiful thing to do. And dogs always help us meet strangers in the best
yeah.
way. And so, really, the joy, these dogs bring me so much joy that they remind me to get into the present moment and
Yeah.
elevate my spirit by simply feeling the joy that they provide for me, because that's what they do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
I call them nature's Prozac. I call dogs nature's Prozac.
I know. I saw actually a
Yeah.
post on your website about that. I really
Yeah.
like that. Nature's
Yeah.
Prozac.
Yeah.
Like they invite us to interrupt the habitual stress and rushed and busy. And
Yes.
like, wait a
Yes.
minute. There's another creature, another being. Like, sentient being.
Yeah.
Here they are.
Yeah.
How beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, truly. Well, thank you so much for this truly delightful conversation. And I really want to thank also all the listeners for listening and watching. And if you found this useful or helpful, feel free to share, subscribe, and may your moments be filled with ease and may you be present in as many of them. Thank you. Hello there, and thank you so much for stopping by this channel. I hope you find this content useful, and if you do, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It will really help me to reach to more people and keep this content going. Here we are journeying together, and let's see where this takes us.